Welcome to No Limits to Success, the podcast that empowers you to break barriers and achieve your dreams. Hosted by Les Moyer, this show brings you inspiring conversations with trailblazers who redefine success in business and life. Les interviews guests ranging from startup founders to industry titans, uncovering their hard-won wisdom, innovative strategies, and the mindset that propelled them to extraordinary heights. Get ready to unlock your potential and discover that in the world of success, there truly are no limits.
That's spec.
Thank you, Brian. It's good to see you. I love the background that you've got. Where are you?
I'm at my house in San Diego.
Lovely. Yeah, it's great to see you again. Thank you. I really do appreciate you taking the time to join me today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, I've actually really loved reading your book, or I've been actually listening to it as an audio book, The Birth of a Brand, Your Journey.
I'll just hold it up there.
Yes, it's insightful, and I'm really enjoying some of the quotes that resonated with me, I guess. Sorry, I've just got to adjust this, get that chat open. But one of the quotes that I did actually resonated with me was because I help small businesses as well, is that you can't give birth to adults.
Yeah.
Can you expand on what you mean by that?
Sure. That just came to me one day, when I was noticing that because I've started a lot of businesses even after UGG, and the same pattern always came up, which is that you had to have somebody to conceive the idea of a new business or a new product or a new service, right? And that is like, oh my God, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to make millions of dollars, right? And so you take the first action and to bring it into life. And for me, the buying 6 pairs of samples of boots was the birth of UGG, right?
Yes.
But then it just lies there. The business you've done everything right, and then it just lies there, and it's just natural that an infant can't get up and go to college. It has to be an infant. But if you can feed it for long enough, eventually it'll start toddling, and that's like when your first true believers are out telling stories about you, and magazines are writing articles about you, and that toddling will eventually get into the youth phase, which is, to me, the best phase, where you've got production's working, sales and marketing's working, accounting is working, the warehouse is shipping properly, and you can run a $20-30 million business in that youth phase. But if it's a great product or a really good service, you're going to hit the teenage years. And just like when you were a teenager, you wanted to be at every party on a Saturday night, it's the same in business. You want to be in every mass retailer, and you want to be in every major trade show. And it's crucially, important you don't, run out of your capital. And then eventually it becomes a mature company. But if you look at the stock exchange page on the Wall Street Journal, every single one of those companies probably started out with maybe $1,000 in sales,
Yes. I resonated with that. I've started a couple of businesses myself, and that quote resonated with me too. There was another one. I think it was the quickest way for a tadpole to become a frog was to live every day happily as a tadpole. What do you mean by that?
That's my favorite piece of philosophy. And it means live in the now. Okay. There's a lot of people say that, like Eckhart Tolle wrote a whole book, like Being in the Now. The greatest fears are those that never come.
That is so true. Yes.
Right. We spend so much time obsessing over what could happen that we forget to act in the now, and especially to be grateful for where we are right now, and if we could just let go of that fear of what could happen and enjoy living every day as a tadpole, one day you're going to look back and say, oh shit, I'm a frog, look at everything I've done. I have really achieved a lot. but you never see it when you're looking forward and you're worried about what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. So basically saying being in the present, and especially when it's in a smaller stage, enjoying that. But I guess where would you say would be your biggest shift from going from that infancy stage to that next stage? I guess there's a lot of resilience for entrepreneurs going through that because there's a
Yeah,
lot of setbacks, right?
yeah.
What's your experience through going through that phase?
Well, before I answer the sequence of it, when I
Yep.
look back, do you know when the best times of UGG were?
When's that?
I was totally broke. I had no clue what I was doing. I was just going winging it from trade show to trade show, and having no real plan for profitability. I look back
Yep.
and they were the good times because when it got to be a 3, 4, 5 million dollar company, you had the pressure of all the staff and all the different human opinions, and everybody wanted to do different things and having different ideas, and that took up so much time from away
Yeah.
from the just the core of, okay, what's our product, who's our market, what's the best way to get it out there, so yeah, that growth has to change from hiring your best friend to come along and run the warehouse, and
Yes.
having
Yes.
a buddy do the marketing. Well, I used to call these people scaffolding employees, right? They
Yeah.
were
Holding it
critical.
up until
Yeah, they were
holding it
critical
up
to
until
get
you
it
can get
up
the
to the
foundations
first
in.
floor, but after you got into the second floor, you don't need them anymore. And so it's a very, very common thing is you have to hire whoever will come along on the first phase, but once it
Yep.
turns into a real business and you want to try and put systems in, they're the last ones who are going to join. So you have to get rid of them and move on. And that happens level through level through level through level all the way through the business.
Yeah, so no, I think that's something that I've had in the past, and you do end up having those. I like that, a scaffolding team. But yes, unfortunately, there is transitions, and you can't necessarily bring those people along unless they change along with the business. Yeah,
Exactly,
that's
because they'll just
yes.
drag you backwards all the time.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And one of the other questions I wanted to ask was that transition phase into that. Well, JT Fox refers when we talk about being pirates versus being a navy, and I think that's the same sort of shift you're doing. There's a different type of organization at that level, and you're transitioning from what you call a lifestyle business to actually
Yeah,
something that's more
yeah.
corporate. Yeah. I guess one of the things I'd like to know is when you were trying to get UGG boots into the hands of basically people who will make it popular, basically getting that brand representation. What were your challenges in doing that?
Um, I I fluked upon what's today called influencer marketing, right?
Yes.
I'd been running these ads for 3 years, featuring models on the beach with UGG boots, the big part of the ads and everything. And I eventually got some feedback from one of my surf shop owners. He had all these young kids who were my target market, that would
Yeah.
store their surfboards in the back of the shop. And he called them and said, "What do you guys think of Uggs?" And every one of them just went, "Oh man, the Uggs are so fake. Those models in the ads, they can't surf." And I realized that I'd been alienating the people I was trying to reach because of the fake, posed ads. And so I ended up getting a couple of young pros. They were, 16-year-old surfers who were just about to turn pro. And I just took photographs of them walking to and from a couple of really, really prominent surf spots. One was Black's Beach in La Jolla and the other one was San Clemente. And I knew every reader of Surfer magazine would die to be walking down the road because it's about a mile to get to the water. They
Yep.
would die to be in that photograph walking to the beach with Mike Parsons. And as soon as I ran those ads, the sales had been stuck around $25 to $30,000 for 3 years every year. It went to $220,000 overnight because I
Wow.
finally connected with and the rule that I learned about advertising, you got to try and get your reader into that photograph or into that web page or into that video. You got to make them want to be in that so badly that they will, Mom, all the cool kids at school have got a pair of Ugg boots. I want some for Christmas, right? Because the mums are the ones with the money. And so
absolutely.
I was able to take this into such a cult thing at the high school level that every kid had to have a pair of Ugg boots just to be on the team.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time today, Brian. I look forward to seeing you again soon, hopefully.
Great, Les. I hope that happens. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to No Limits to Success with Les Moyer. We hope today's episode has sparked new ideas and motivation for your own journey. Remember, the only ceiling on your success is the one you create in your mind. To connect with Les's guests and explore their work, check out the links in our show notes. And if you want to dive deeper into the No Limits mindset, visit our website at nolimitstosuccess.com.au for exclusive content, resources, and upcoming events. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. It helps others discover the show. Until next time, keep pushing boundaries and redefining what is possible. And remember, there are no limits to success.